Want to look like Jesus? Just sign up to the next season of Survivor and you can. We have it all here on Drop Your Buffs, a podcast discussing Australian Survivor. On this episode, we'll be discussing the Australian Survivor episode that aired on Sunday, the 25th of September. So if you haven't seen this episode yet and don't want to be spoiled, grab your things and head back to camp. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just go to dropyourbuffs.com for more details. My name is Stuart, and with me, as usual, is my Survivor partner in crime, Craig. How's it going, Craig?
Good, Stu. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. It's good to be back in the studio again.
Great to be back in the studio. It's fantastic.
Face to face.
Face to face once again. How's your weekend been?
Yes, no, it's been very busy, and it's been very exciting to watch this episode of Survivor. It's you know, of course, it's very dear to our hearts. You know, as a Drop Your Buffs proponent, it was
We had our magic moment tonight, didn't we?
We sure did. Well, we started with the Survivor auction, didn't we? And that's what we spoke about in the last episode. We could see that's what was going to happen.
Yes.
Did
you notice that Sam didn't notice what was going on?
Sam didn't know.
Sam didn't seem to know, and when I
really?
Yeah, when I looked back at the cast bios, I think Sam was the one who's never actually seen a full episode of Survivor before, so he didn't actually know what was happening.
Well, that would be quite a disadvantage, wouldn't it, in the Survivor auction? I would have thought.
Well, and it was also the merge. He seemed a little bit confused about it. Well, he's going, "What's happening? What's this?"
Now, with the Drop Your Buffs moment, did that happen before the auction or after the auction?
Before
the auction. Okay,
before,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And so I thought that it was great that JLP actually said "Drop Your Buffs."
No, I know.
And he didn't have some little sort of variation on that. And
our life is complete.
yes, it is. It is. I think that we deserve a bit of fireworks for that one. The fireworks again. It was a great. Because it is a very pivotal part. And the previous merge we had wasn't really a true merge. This was the true merge.
This is the merge. That's our moment.
That's right. And it is a very pivotal part of Survivor, isn't it? Because that's when things really start to heat up, and you're really coming into the last phase of the
game
of the
changes
challenge.
at this point, doesn't it? I mean, you go from tribal immunity to individual immunity. The challenges, as we saw tonight, you start getting into those real endurance challenges that are always done for individual immunity.
Yes.
This is my favourite part from this point on. It's great. It took a long time to get there, though. But I suppose when you've got as many people as they've had in this series,
I know, and there's still lots of people because there were 13 in this.
That's right.
In this new tribe, and just checking, they called their tribe Fia, didn't they?
Fia, yeah.
Fia.
Samoan for happy, apparently.
Yes. Now I actually did a bit of research during the ad break as well.
Wow.
And it also it's sort of one of those words that has a few different meanings. It also means celebration or get together.
So there you go.
So
very appropriate.
It means a few things. So yeah,
I like it.
I mean, I still think that it should have been called the Black Widows. That's my personal favourite. Right, so Survivor auction time.
Survivor auction.
They start with $500 of Australian money.
Oh, wasn't it good? And
It was good.
I've done a bit of travel, and I have to say we've got good-looking money compared to most countries, I reckon.
It is.
I really like our money, and it stood out beautifully. The 50s and the 20s there.
Yeah, that's right. With the US Survivor, do they use US money or some sort of fake money?
No, it's US dollars.
Oh, it is, right.
And it all looks the same.
Right. Yeah, that's
it's all green.
Now, should we go through blow by blow what happened on the auction, do you think? Or is
yeah,
should we do that?
Let's do that.
Okay, well, we start with the old salt and vinegar chips, which is, I'm not sure if that's a kind of Australian thing, but it feels a little bit Australian, doesn't it?
Yeah, it harks back to the old Samboy chips of old, yeah. But did you notice it was an unlabelled soft drink bottle?
Right, exactly.
No label, they didn't see.
That's right.
They're not up there with the way Hungry Jacks are playing this.
So Connor got that for $60.
He did.
And he had 3 drinks to share for some others, but that was a pretty easy choice for him. I don't think it really caused too many problems.
I just wondered whether the producers threw that in just because Maybe I don't know. They would be so low on energy. They had no rewards. They had nothing. And I just wondered if they thought, we got to give these guys some sugar. We know exactly how, That's what it looked like to me. I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, that was a pretty easy decision for Connor to make who he was going to give the soft drink to.
Yeah, that's right. Then the next one, we had some chocolate cake and chocolate milk.
Yep.
Also won by Connor for $460. He was very determined to have that, wasn't he?
Yeah, look, I like the way he played that. I mean, I reckon I would have done something pretty similar if I saw a chocolate cake and I'd just go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of those guys on that tribe had been practically starving, hadn't they?
Yeah.
So he was just keen to get anything because, as you know, there are always lots of people that don't get anything in those auctions.
You might remember, it's a few weeks back now, there was a challenge where, and I can't even remember who got it now, but there was someone who got, in fact, I think it was Matt, when Matt got a chocolate milkshake at a challenge way back. I remember Connor saying, oh, God, I love chocolate. I'm missing chocolate so much.
That's right. I remember that.
So I think he's been holding out for that chocolate for quite a while. So I'm not surprised he paid that exorbitant amount of money for a piece of chocolate cake. And I would too, frankly.
Yeah.
But that was him done. He was out. That's his 500 gone.
That's right. The next one we had was a covered item. And of course, this always presents a bit of a dilemma. And we've seen some pretty revolting things under those covered covers, haven't we?
We have.
Those covered plates.
Fish milkshakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, or
nothing.
Claws of something, or
glass of water
snails or something. Yeah, glass of water. But Sam got that one for $240. He had a bit of a heated auction, heated bidding war with Nick. And then, as they sometimes do as well, he then had a second choice. He could keep what he first bid for, or he could go for a second covered item. And he thankfully stayed for the first one, and he got the nachos and margarita.
And he looked pretty happy about that, didn't he?
He was.
In fact, I think he said something like, "It's my favourite. That's my go-to snack. That's what I want."
I wish we knew what was under the second one, whether that was a dud item, because there weren't really any dud items in the whole thing in the end.
I suspect it came out later. I suspect it was one of those advantage ones that got played.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my suspicion.
Yeah.
That was probably one of a collection he had down there, and it came out again.
Then we had another covered item, didn't we? Which Sue won for $220. And
well,
that was
done, Sue. The steak and chips.
Yes, I think that one
That's a good one.
probably has the most nutritional value in terms of what they're really needing at the moment.
Lots of protein, and that would have really helped her. Well done, Sue. $220 for steak and chips.
And then we had this massive prize on the side that was all under this big sheet. And I don't think have we seen something like that before in the US Survive?
I have a feeling we have.
Yeah, I can't. It is normally like a plate of food or something, pretty small.
I think I remember someone having a shower once.
Oh yeah, no, actually, I think you're right.
With all the fixins.
So Brooke won that for the bargain of $20.
I know. I can't believe no one else bidded there.
No.
Bid? What's the plural of bid? Probably
Yeah,
bid.
I think bid.
Bid, yeah.
Bid and bid, yeah. Yeah, well, I thought even maybe Flick, because she seemed to really appreciate the last sort of bar thing that they had. So anyway, good on Brooke. Good on Brooke.
Yeah, $20 for a bath. Yep.
Then the next one we had an advantage that was won by Lee for $80, which I think that was a bargain, wasn't it?
Money well spent, I reckon. Yeah.
Then the next one we had was spaghetti and a glass of wine. And Kate slammed down $500
Yep.
before anyone else could. And that was it, wasn't it?
Pretty much over.
That's it. So
that'd be pretty nice though, wouldn't it? Spaghetti bolognese after a month of beans.
Yeah.
That would have been just magic.
I think that would be right up there with the steak and chips, really. Then we had another covered item, which Nick went for $440, and that was another advantage. And that was I think to have two advantages in one auction was probably a bit unusual. I think they would normally have sort of one. So having two was a bit unusual. But it's funny because that's what Nick didn't want that.
He didn't. No, he did not want that, did he?
No.
He is very scarred by what happened to him last time.
Yeah, but it's funny. I saw someone else tweet, which was a good reminder, saying that in the US version of Survivor, they've had situations where you've had three people have each bid $500 for an advantage, so it's been hotly contested. And here you've got ones where they can't give them away.
They say,
almost.
no, I don't want it. Stay away. Yeah.
Well, remember, I think JLP was asking Matt because Matt didn't seem to be bidding, or he wasn't really bidding, and JLP was sort of asking him what he was waiting for, and Matt said, "Oh, that's not what I want," but he didn't really say what it was he wanted.
Yeah, I wonder what it was.
Well, I know that because I saw our friend Ryan from the Australian Community podcast. I saw he tweeted Matt directly during the show.
Oh, wow.
And Matt replied back and said he was waiting for a loved one letter. That's what he was waiting for.
Okay.
So that's something else that does pop up.
Yeah, that's
occasionally.
That's probably coming.
Yeah. So
Well, that's good to know.
yeah. Well, I guess I don't know if they're going to have the loved ones come on the island coming up.
Surely they will.
I hope they do.
Surely they will. That's always a great.
It never fails to tug the heartstrings. That
It
one.
does. It does. But usually it's it's sort of down when they're down to 5 or 6. It's usually a bit later.
Yeah, that's right.
It's sort of right towards the end when they really need the emotional support from it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. I was wondering what it was.
Yeah. So now the new tribe is back at the Vavau camp, which they weren't too happy about, really, were they?
Well, yeah, I would like to know how they actually who makes that decision. Who chooses where the camps go? I would have thought the Sanapu one was probably the best equipped. I would think so. They had all the luxury items over there. Sorry, did I say Vavau? I meant Sanapu if I said Vavau. That's what I would have thought, but then they went back to Vavau, so I'm wondering what the thinking was there. Maybe they wanted to make it a bit more interesting, bit less creature comforts or something.
Or just make it more difficult or something.
Yeah.
I thought from the last episode, remember we talked about the sleeping arrangements and Kylie refusing to move and so on. It seemed like they were just sleeping on the ground, weren't they?
Yeah, it did look like that.
Yeah.
Whereas
Which-
Vavau were elevated.
Right.
They're off the
Okay.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was weird that at that stage in the game they were sleeping on the ground and they just hadn't bothered to try and make a proper shelter, because I thought sleeping on the ground is a bit of a no-no, or it's
Yeah.
just it's very difficult.
Maybe it's more comfortable. I mean, sand, sort of sleeping on sand might be a little bit more comfortable than lying on, palm fronds or palm branches or something. Just be softer and more comfortable, wouldn't it?
I thought it was something about being elevated off the, from where creepy crawlies can get to you and
there's
bite
that.
you and, things like that. I
Yeah.
thought it was that kind of
I'm no expert in this. I'm sorry, Stu.
And then we heard from Nick, and he was saying the merge has changed everything. And then he lists about 10 different things that it affects, but it's true though.
And then
It's true.
described it as cutthroat bloodshed for $500,000.
Yeah.
Cutthroat bloodshed.
Bloodshed.
Wow.
Well, we know how he's going to play the game, don't we?
I think we do.
And also, I think Flick is probably in the same camp, because she was saying in no uncertain terms that she wanted Connor out.
Yes. She did say that. She's still quite upset about the fact that Connor voted for her.
But that was
way
probably
back.
like 3 weeks ago or
Way back.
something.
Well, I think it was the tribal council where Connor ended up going over to Vavau. A fairly sliding doors moment for him in the game, as it turned out. Now, I'm just trying to remember. I have a feeling so she's all upset that Connor voted for her, but I'm pretty sure she voted for Connor in that tribal council.
Yeah.
If anyone out there listening can remember what happened, please let us know. But I'm pretty sure that she voted for him. So I don't know how you can get all upset about someone voting for you if you've done that to them. I just don't understand that logic.
Look, I can say I was checking through the tweets as I was watching the episode, and there was little love directed towards Flick, I would say, during this episode.
Oh, really?
And there was lots of parallels drawn between Mean Girls
Oh, really?
and saying, is this Survivor or is this Mean Girls? And so she was probably the most unpopular Survivor, I would say, just judging from tweets.
Just
anyway.
on tonight's tweets.
Yeah, that's right. Just based on tonight's tweets, yeah. And even Sue, I guess she sort of backed that up. She was saying that the old Sanapu was acting like a sorority house.
Yes.
And she really wanted to protect Connor because she knew that Connor was a big target. So it was good that she was saying that, but I'm not sure whether that actually eventuated to anything, as we'll see later in the episode.
Well, certainly what we were shown of the discussions, there was talk about Connor, Kate, Christy and Sue all voting as one block.
It seemed pretty promising, actually.
It seemed very promising. They were talking to Kylie, and she said she was very keen to work with Connor. I mean, we'll talk about the way the votes actually fell a bit later when we get to Tribal Council, but I think we're showing a lot of things that that gave us some hope for that team anyway, that things might go okay. And as it turns out, that's not how people voted.
No,
as it turns out.
that's right.
Then we got on to the advantages. We found out what the advantages were.
So what was Lee's? Can you describe Lee's one, Craig?
So Lee's advantage, which he bought for $80 at the auction, is the power to stop one person from voting at Tribal Council. He's got to use it when there are no more than 4 people left, and he has to announce it after JLP says time to vote. So that's a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah, it is. I don't think we've had that kind of a advantage before, have we?
I can remember something similar. I couldn't tell you the specifics of it, but
I know we've had ones where where a person can vote twice and things like that. But
so look, I thought that if you go fairly deep into the game, that could actually be quite useful towards the end.
Yeah, well, it's got to be on a vote that you think is pretty close.
Yeah,
and obviously they were pretty confident it was going to be close tonight.
Yeah. I think it'd be crazy to use it now. I mean, you'd probably use it if you were trying to protect yourself or someone in an alliance with you from being voted out. That would be my thought, and it would be more effective, I think, fairly late in the game. But obviously, you'd have to make an assessment tribal council by tribal council when it's time to use it.
And then we had Nick, because Nick had his advantage as well.
Less enthusiastic about his, though.
Well, he was even talking about burning it.
I know. Why would you do that?
Taking it a bit far.
Why would you do that? I mean, he didn't. As it turns out, he did not do that. But when he said that, I thought, you've got to be kidding. You've got this. It was like letting the chicken. That would be like letting the chickens go, like they did a while back. I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, as it turned out, it was a clue for another hidden immunity idol, and which Nick seems to just jump up straight away and start looking for it.
Yeah, like he was like,
that's right, just
crazy man, just
full of energy.
Yep, just whoa, gotta go and find it.
And
because Lee crashed his party while he was doing it.
Exactly. So Nick, it seems like he was really forced to tell Lee and to act like he was.
Do you think he would have told him? If Lee hadn't been watching in great amusement what was going on.
Well, Lee didn't seem to think so, did he?
No,
because Lee said something about how he thought of that because Nick had already started looking for the idol, obviously. So
I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have told him.
No.
But then he started talking about how they were going to tell the Sanapu Six. Do we actually know who the Sanapu Six are, or did we get a glimpse of that later during the vote?
Well,
I'm just curious as to who the Sanapu. They're obviously the 6 that Nick feels most aligned to. But do we actually know who they are?
Well, I assume it's Flick and Brooke, Lee and Elle, Nick himself, and Matt.
Oh, that makes
6.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Kylie was the one that was kind of was on the fringe, really. She wasn't really part of their group.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
that's probably who he's talking about. Then we got on.
Yes.
Then we got on. Now I did not like this bit. The pink skirt friendship bands.
Yeah, this
felt like high school to me.
It's funny that you should say that because someone tweeted, this game is just high school for adults on an island, was what someone tweeted. It was exactly what you were suggesting.
That was unnecessary what happened there. It was done in full view of the tribe. I didn't like that at all. No,
well, I guess we don't watch Survivor to see the goodies or have the goodies win. It's about seeing good players and entertaining players and so on.
Correct.
But so even if you put that to one side, though, why would they rub it in their face by doing that?
I see no strategic value whatsoever of doing that either.
No, it's just being nasty for the sake of it.
It didn't feel good to me.
No,
and you could see the people who were excluded from that were visibly uncomfortable about it, and it was just. It was not a nice moment.
Imagine having to live with these people for days and days and days in these uncomfortable situations.
I know, and then you've got that going on, and it seems like they had those bands on for ages. They all seemed to be wearing them during the immunity challenge which followed, and they had them on a
Right.
tribal council as well. So it amazes me that not one person in that group went, "Oh, do you think
No.
this is a good
Yeah,
idea that
I know.
we're advertising this so openly?"
Yes, no, it was very odd.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
Anyway, all right, on to the immunity challenge.
Yes.
I knew it was going to be an endurance one. Just knew it. So the first one after the merge is generally always an endurance challenge.
Yes. And this is one I haven't seen before.
No, good,
No.
good, tough challenge.
It was, and I can't believe how long they went for.
I know, 70. What was it? 75
75
minutes
minutes in the end.
Actually, it was at the 75-minute mark where they took one hand off, so it actually went
Yeah.
longer than that. It
Yeah,
was
that's
probably
right.
more like
That's right.
80. And the strategy some of them were using. I mean, some of the girls, like, they were hanging upside down using only their feet.
Yeah.
It was quite amazing.
Yeah. No, it was very well done. It was very well done.
Yeah.
I thought that Kate was going to win it because she seemed very relaxed with her sort of yoga
She
powers and
She did.
so on. I
She
thought
and Brooke were the two who looked most likely all the way through, I thought. Although Kylie looked pretty
Kylie,
strong.
yeah, that's
Kylie
right.
looked quite strong for a while, and what
Yeah.
brought her undone was having to take one hand off. But the guys all went early. The first three out were Matt, Sam, and Connor, which is, I thought at least one of those guys would hang in there a bit longer than that.
I thought Sam with his Spider-Man tattoo. I thought he'd be a dead ringer, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. So yeah, incredible. So so those and along with Sue, they didn't make it to the 30-minute mark. Between 30 and 60 minutes, we lost Flick, Jenna Louise, Elle, and Lee. And Nick put in a mighty effort to get through to 60.
Mm.
With a bit of inspiration from Kylie, and but no, that was amazing challenge. So good win to Brooke there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, then of course we get the pre-tribal
Scrambling.
scramble,
We
the
did.
PTS,
We did.
and Nick's alliance, or Nick's plan really, was to split the vote between Connor and Kate.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, he had a conversation with Brooke, Flick, and Matt about that, and that was what they decided was the best thing to do.
It was really just in case Connor did have an idol. I'm not sure if they really had any good reason to think he would have had one.
They wouldn't know. I mean, they wouldn't really know what's been going on in that other tribe. And
It'd be a pretty outside chance, but I guess you never know.
You don't know, and I'd be very surprised if Sue would have shared any intelligence with them that would have given them any idea about that. So look, there was definitely a risk. You just have no idea what was going on at that tribe. So I think that's a reasonable position for them to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all sorts of separate conversations going on there. We had, Matt, Sam, and Lee were talking, and Lee was saying things like, "Well, Nick's scared of me. He hasn't come and spoken to me, and he knows not to trust me." That was Lee saying that, and Sam saying Connor's a good kid. He's like a little brother, and
Yep.
so they were giving us some hope that maybe Connor wasn't going to be the one. Kylie was very emotional when they spoke to her.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And then Sue.
And then Sanapu surveillance.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, what should they have done there? I mean,
Well, it was very brazen, wasn't it, of Brooke
was.
to follow Connor and Sam that just wanted to have a quiet chat
I
together.
don't understand why one of them didn't say, "Look, can we just have a quiet chat?"
Yeah, I know.
Why didn't that happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that would have changed anything
Probably not.
because
Maybe it would have. It might have given him Connor more of a chance to plead his case with Sam. I don't know, but I'd like to think that if it was me in that situation, I said, "Do you mind? We just want to have a private chat here."
Yeah. Oh, she was very game, wasn't she?
She was.
She was.
Does that suggest though that there's a little bit of insecurity though on the part of Brooke and Flick that they are not actually as comfortable in the game as they might be saying they are?
I'm not so sure it's insecurity. I think it just shows that they're really ruling with an iron grip, and they'll do anything to just to maintain their control. And that's
I guess
that's what they were doing.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Which I just wonder whether the Connor, Kate, Sue, Christy alliance, although we'll talk about that in a minute, whether they ever actively considered. Well, obviously after Brooke got immunity, she couldn't be voted out, but whether they actually ever considered voting as one to see if they could get Flick. As it turned out, they didn't. But it'd be interesting to know whether they actually ever considered that, because that is a powerful alliance that you just cannot break up, and I really think Flick and Brooke will will stay together the whole way through. So
Yeah,
at
that's
some
right.
point they need to break that because with each passing tribal council, that just gets more and more powerful.
Yeah. Although it seems with people in the game that there's a fair bit of animosity towards Flick, but not so much to Brooke.
So is Flick one of those characters that people are now thinking about taking to the end? Because they'll
Exactly.
beat her.
And that's why Brooke is probably happy to stick with Flick to
But
the
she
end
gets carried
because
along as well.
she thinks that she can beat Flick at the end if they
Maybe.
both got there.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that could be exactly what's happening there actually. So yeah, Flick might go a long way.
So we get to Tribal.
Tribal Council.
I still find the Tribal Council just a bit disappointing. There's not too much that comes out there's not too much that JLP seems to be able to weasel out of people.
I think what we're seeing
Anything all that interesting. Everyone sort of clams up and says stuff that's pretty
Yeah,
non-committal. And
we've talked about this before. It's very diplomatic and almost sounds like
Yes.
a bunch of politicians speaking.
it's
at
just not
times.
juicy enough, is it?
But I think also we're seeing it might be a little bit of JLP's experience, inexperience as well. I mean, we're comparing him against Jeff Probst from the US series, and he's done, somewhere between 400 and 500 tribal councils now, so he's got a huge amount of experience in doing it. JLP's on I think that was the 13th, if I remember correctly, in the series we've had so far. So he's doing all right, but I agree. We don't get quite the same. We don't seem to be getting the same revelations that we're quite often used to seeing from the US show.
No, that's right. I mean, of course, he did point out the pink friendship rings, and he brought that up,
and that was good. I thought that was
Yeah,
good, the way
yeah.
he called that out. And,
That's right.
made them all show it. Put your hand
Raise
up
your
if
hands.
you're wearing one. I thought that was great. Interestingly, just a little trivial bit of information. So prior to that tribal council, who do you reckon had been to the most tribal councils?
I think it would have been Connor.
Yeah, correct. So
Yes.
he'd been to 9 prior
Yeah.
to that. Nine out of the 12 held. He was the only one who'd been to 9.
He's a tribal council specialist.
He was, and then there were a few behind him on 8. I can't remember who they were now, but I think they were probably Christy and Kate. I think were on 8 behind him. So and they'd only had 12 to that point, so he's been to 9 out of 12.
Mm.
Conversely, on the Sanapu side of the equation, you've got people I think I can't remember who they are. There's a couple there that had only been to 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
is a big difference.
Should we get to the votes?
Yep, get to the votes.
Okay, now the votes were a bit crazy.
It
weren't
went all
they?
over the place, didn't it?
Well, we had Matt.
Yep.
Then we had.
So he got 1 vote, and that was Sue.
Right,
Who
yep.
voted for Matt.
Yep, and the next person was.
Nick got 1 vote.
That's
That
right,
was
Nick.
Connor. Kylie got 1 vote. That was Kate. So we saw Sue, Connor, and Kate split their vote, which surprised me,
Yeah.
and I didn't understand the thinking behind that.
No, because they didn't show us anything that would explain that. All that they showed us was that this sort of potential alliance with the minority,
Yeah, so
and
that-
it just didn't eventuate.
But what we saw is they were talking about we've got to stick together, and they said maybe we should vote for Matt, which is what Sue did. But so they went their separate ways. So I think that was the first surprise. They were all the 1 votes. We then had Kate, who got 4 votes, and they were Jenna, Louise, Matt, Kylie, and Brooke, who voted for her. So again, interestingly, there you've got Kylie there voting for Kate.
Yep.
Kylie did not join that alliance. She stuck with the old Sanapu.
Which is strange because she never fit in with that old alliance anyway.
No,
And surely she would know that she would be at the bottom of that alliance. So
I just think it was a real opportunity.
Yeah.
For her to really improve
for a
her
big
position.
move and take out one of those power players like Flick or someone.
That's right. And then Connor, who was ultimately voted out, with 6 votes out of the 13. And the people who voted him were Flick, not surprisingly, because she was quite clear all the way through that she had it in for him. Sam voted for Connor. Not the first time he's done that. He has voted for him previously. You might remember in the tribe swap way back when Connor went over to Vavau, Sam actually changed his vote during that tribal council on the revote. So Sam has actually voted for Connor before, but I was surprised that it happened now. Christy utterly betrayed him and voted for him. Nick took him out on the basis that he's a good strategic player, and then we had Ellen Lee vote for him as well. So some interesting votes there. I'm intrigued by the way that Sue, Connor, and Kate, who didn't ultimately have Christy with them, split their votes. I was intrigued that Kylie went the way she did with Kate, and I was interested that Sam and Christy both voted for Connor. Votes going everywhere there.
It was, yeah. Well, should we bring out the sad music for Connor?
Yeah, bring out the sad music.
I know that you don't want to hear this, do
I
you,
don't want
Craig?
to hear this.
But Connor, the tribe has spoken, and it's time for you to return to the Shire. It's been good having you with us.
The most amazing experience of his
Yes.
life, he said. He took it in good, again, another good sport as he
Yes,
exited the
yeah.
game.
No, he was. So, see you, Connor. Any best moments, Craig?
Oh, best moments. Look, probably the performance of the girls in the immunity challenge. The way they just hung on there and really quite impressive stuff. And that challenge was amazing.
Yeah, no, it was. It was. No, I liked going back to the start of the episode. We had at the time that they were going to have the merge and have the drop your buffs moment. You could just see Nick was saying, "Say it, say it."
I was too.
Yes.
Say it, drop your buffs.
So that was good. And then I liked when Lee caught out Nick looking for the idol, and he was saying that Nick was looking like a meerkat or a ferret.
Awesome.
Actually, just with the tweets, I did have one more tweet that I was going to talk
That's
about.
a chicken. I keep telling you, that's a chicken.
Well, it's a feathered sort of a bird, isn't it? It's,
Yeah, but so's a penguin. I mean, it's a chicken.
I saw a tweet by Flick actually,
Oh, yeah?
and she was raising the question: what do you guys think about Australia versus USA Survivor?
Oh,
Wouldn't that be good?
I think that's awesome. Bring that on.
That'd be a great idea. But
That is fantastic.
maybe we need a few more Australian
Might need to run a few-
seasons
yeah.
so that we have a good sort of a pool to choose
Oh,
from.
I reckon they
But-
might just go for that, you know?
They might because our Survivor's probably closest to the US one compared to other countries that have done Survivor. I think.
Right, wow. Oh,
And,
I think that's got real promise, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, I think the American audience would lap that up.
Yep.
As I understand it, a lot of the crew that work on the American version are Australians. I mean, you hear a lot of Australian accents from the
That's right.
medical and
Yep.
various. Yeah, I love it. Bring it on.
Yes.
I think that would be fantastic.
Any other Survivor news, Craig?
Survivor News. Yes. So news.com.au published a story this week. The headline was, "How do Survivor contestants go to the toilet?" You ever wondered that?
Absolutely.
Well, the answer apparently is, at least for this series, they have a porta potty nearby.
Oh, really?
So the show has certain environmental obligations to Samoa,
That's fair enough.
and
fair
they've got to leave the place in the condition that they found it, and that includes human waste.
Right.
So there is an off-camera porta potty available for the contestants to use.
Which I assume that they have always done that for the US Survivor too, I guess.
I
wouldn't they?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know that the question's ever been answered for us before. But that, according to news.com.au during the week, that's what happened.
Very interesting.
And JLP apparently had a beautiful overwater bungalow kind of thing at the nearby resort that he stayed in during filming, but it had no TV and no telephone, and he used to have to go up to reception if he wanted anything, which I would have thought is not much of a problem to have compared to what the survivors were dealing with down the beach.
No, that's all right.
So anyway,
That's all
that was the news of the week.
right. Okay. Very good.
News.com telling us some of the finer points of Survivor.
Excellent. Well, is that all you have for tonight then, Craig?
Yeah, I think that's a good wrap of tonight's episode, I think.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone for joining us. We're looking forward to the next couple of episodes. We'll probably do a double episode on the Tuesday night for the 2 episodes for Monday and Tuesday, which is what we've done in the past. So looking forward to seeing what happens with the new Fia tribe.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Some interesting things to be seen the way those votes went tonight.
That's right. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you later. Have a good week.